A very bright good evening to all the viewers, whoever is seeing this channel. Upon much request from all of you, we are just starting our new episode or new discuss about the Kundalini Yoga or Kriya Yoga, that is far most famously known as and mostly wrongly interpreted. When I said it that it is wrongly interpreted, I actually want to mean, like, I have many of you have listened to my other discourses and the Hindi version of Kriya Yoga classes that I generally have discussed over 10 to 12 classes and have tried to teach you the basic principles of Kriya Yoga. When we talk about yoga, we talk about yoga. It is not yoga, because the pronunciation of Sanskrit varies vastly with that of the pronunciation of English. So if you try to translate English into Sanskrit, it's impossible. And when you go to translate Sanskrit to English, most of the phonetics that are used in Sanskrit has got no mention in the English alphabets. So over here, before we start with your classes, I'd like to mention that there will be certain words that I will use only as a Sanskrit word. Because, see, the main wisdom of a certain thing is available only when you speak the very language. Now, suppose you understand a language that is not very vocal in the word Palladium, but if I can't spell that language to you, you will not be able to take the inner meaning of what I am saying to you in totality. So just to not to go with the flow, I would prefer if you understand what I say you in the language how it was taught in the first instance. Like all my discussions, if any one of you have got any problem with whatever I am going to discuss in the classes, you can always get in touch with me through my email, through my Facebook, and all the DMs of my social media are open. You can get through me in my LinkedIn, you can get through me by my Facebook, Twitter, however you can find me, and generally I am very searchable. So I hope that this journey of ours in learning the actual Kundalini Kriya Yoga will benefit each and everyone who wants to learn about your internal feelings, the Indian traditional Sanatan Dharma, as well as is looking for a particular explanation of what is the difference between the Tantra, the other branches of enlightenment, and I will try to collate my life experiences into teaching you and trying to guide you through your journey of spirituality. So let's start. Today will be the first episode of Kriya Kundalini Tantra class, and I hope you all the best. And if you find any problem in the journey, I am always there to help you with my little means that I have. So here we start. When we talk about Kriya Yoga, the first person that hits our mind is Swami Paramananda Yogahans, or the autobiography of Yogi. Anyone who has got interested into learning the subject has learned mostly through this book. Guys, let me try to explain you. It was the autobiography of a yogi who has been initiated into the spiritual practices as per the Sanatan Dharma in a Guru Parampara lineage, and who explains his life's history to you through that book. So when you try to learn from somebody's life principles, even I am also teaching you what I have learned in my own life, from a corporate world leader to a spiritual leader, or however you spell it out. It's better you become a swan. How a swan is, it takes the milk from the water. So leave the gross things apart. Take the material that you are supposed to take and try to shun off those things which doesn't matter at all within this peripheral. So let's start with small abbreviations that we are going to learn about in the whole journey. When I say it is the Tantra or it is the Kriya Tantra, what we actually spell or what we actually mention, you got to understand that this first term of Kriya Yoga came into practice when Rishi Patanjali, not the Patanjali of Swami Ramdev, but the Rishi Patanjali of 15,000 era, tried to bring forward a age-old tradition of Saivism. Saivism or the Shiva Tantra, and it speaks vastly about Lord Shiva's teachings to Lord Parvati and her questions to her husband. This was typically related with yoga system and how or what principles a person should develop, what are the ways a person should sit, should speak, excuse me, should carry his forward journey towards enlightenment. Lord Shiva speaks this whole thing, which is narrated in vastly in 3 books. The first of it being the Shiv Purana. Second of it can be Tantra Bhairav, and mostly the Upanishad that's written in Sanskrit. Again, I will ask you to read the book in the language it is written. The operation on Bharat that existed over a period of near about 900 years in total has seen various destruction forces trying to eliminate our religion, our spiritual scriptures, our thoughts, our culture. But still, Sanskrit is considered as the mother of all languages. And all the scriptures that gives you this gyan is written in Sanskrit. Until and unless you know how to read this language, all the interpretation and the translation that you read across the net, publications, prints, imprints, manuscripts, has got some points or the other given by that author. Means, suppose if I am trying to elaborate yoga and kriya and tantra today, Obviously, while I am elaborating it, I will add a word or two within the elaboration. But this understanding of the whole process varies from each person to the other. Experiences of the sadhakas always varies. So what I will be teaching you is my experience, and how you will learn it is your experience. To start, the basic principles. We all know there are energy points across our bodies. Now this over here will be termed as chakras. First thought that I want to eliminate is our body doesn't have 7 chakras. Yes. The 7th chakra, that is known as the Sahasrara, is actually the adrop of Shiva or Mahashiva. He is not the Shiva that you worship, not the husband of Parvati that you worship. He is the Sadashiva. You will see in each and every scriptures it is written Sadashiva. Now what is the difference between Shiva and Sadashiva can itself become a very vast literature, as well as it can continue for 100 episodes. So without trying to intervene into this, I would like you to understand it like this, that it is a drop of that super consciousness which is in its form implied as Om. Om. It is not Aum. It is not Heom. It is not Om. It is Om. So there are things that we need to understand, rectify and process. This is not something that I am doing to criticize somebody. I am not doing it so that I can prove myself a more knowledgeable person from the other. But what I'm trying to teach you are the actual formats it was being pronounced by the Godheads. As you know, Sanatana Dharma was actually being crafted by the God himself. So I will tell you and try to teach you exactly what he is mentioned in his scriptures, or what was mentioned as his quotations. So when I say that this is not the chakra, this is actually a drop. What I mean is, when a sadhak takes his subconscious mind beyond the zone of the last chakra and to the upper consciousness, that is a super consciousness, he enters the state of samadhi, that is the highest form of meditation. Samadhi, last stage. You can enter even the samadhi stage when your chakras are in the Vishuddhi or the throat chakra. But when your knowledge goes to your Sahasrara, you start your journey from zero to the infinite. If I try to put it in other words, this is the place of the infinite, the Parabrahma that we say in other variations. You can term it as Omkar. Please don't term it as Jesus. With all respect to the other religions, I differ over here that there was someone in this name. Obviously, there was Ishuha. That's again a different scripture altogether. In many formats, this particular energy constellations is structured and termed as the serpent power, which denotes the female energy that resides in the very anal position of a physical form of a human being. The positions we will discuss in the next episode perhaps. Just understand it this way, that the coiled energy in and spiritual practice through a particular steps of yoga, exercises and principles which involves your mind, your body and your soul restructuring, carries your conscious level from a very lower level to the highest level of consciousness. That is how we can explain the full journey of the Kundalini Yantra, Tantra and the Yoga of Kriya. If we try to elaborate Kriya Yoga, Kriya means what? You do. Kriya is what you do. So whatever you are doing, be it your puja, be it your exercises, be it your breathing exercise, be it your physical exercise, be it your asanas, be it your food habits, your drinking habits, these all are kriyas, whatever you are doing. Even the way that you are sleeping is a kriya, and it is also a asan in Hatha Yoga. You might be saying that the Vishnu avatar or Lord Vishnu is always shown in a sleeping position on the huge cobra. Now this also has got something to do with the basics of Kundalini Tantra. We will be involving nadis. What are nadis? Anyone who comes from Sanatana Dharma do understand this. To explain it in a vivid way, the nadi are basically the veins and the arteries conjunction points. In principle, there are three nadis which we hold as the basic main nadis of our body, but we have several others, just as our veins and the nerve system. The main nervous system is also discussed in this yoga. If you try to differentiate between Kriya Yoga and Hatha Yoga, you will not be able to do so, because both forms, part and theoretically are nearly the same. Hatha Yoga is totally Kriya Yoga, but Kriya Yoga is partially Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga will involve certain kriyas that are not possible for a certain person in normal physical strength of today's nature to perform. Hatha Yoga will require a very young, stimulated and energetic body without any vices. Means there are certain people who develop arthritis or other physical problems in a very young age. Even I did develop. Hatha Yoga is not for us, but Kriya Yoga can be done in any age limit. There is no limit for Kriya Yoga. From a very small child, a birth taken baby, to a dying old person does Kriya Yoga. You got to understand this. Kriya Yoga is very much interlinked with Bhakti Yoga. Without Kriya, Bhakti is not possible. Without Bhakti, Kriya is not possible. There are certain things which your mind or your willpower makes you do irrespective of your health conditions. In Kriya Yoga, emphasis is given too much on your mental strength. When we call about the Kundalini chakra, the Kundalini develops your mental willingness to go to any strength to know the truth. So when we speak about the truth, we are speaking about the enlightenment, which starts the journey from zero to infinity. And to reach the infinity, first you've got to pull up your consciousness to the level of your last chakra of the third eye, or the Anjana chakra. Yes, this is the last chakra, the sixth chakra. From there, your journey starts towards infinity. If you can complete that journey within your this physical body, within a particular birth of yours, that simply benefits your level of understanding, level of consciousness, level of abundance in your life. Here, I will mention that unlike other gurus, other spiritual preachers, I am against the policy of denouncing each and everything to attain enlightenment. Enlightenment means abundance. Abundance in each and everything. Knowledge, power, strength, wealth, health. Until and unless you have these five within you, you are not in an abundant position. What is the cause of your wealth when you cannot use it in your own lifespan? You are accumulating wealth just to give to somebody else who is not going to take care of you after you die. Has got no particular value in my life, at least. I am a very, you can say, physical minded person in that nature. I don't find a goal in that. If I have accumulated a certain amount of wealth, knowledge, it has to do something with my this lifespan. And if it is not serving me, it has got no hold in my life whatsoever, be the value of it. Now, in Kundalini Yoga as a Chakra Shastra, or when we are talking Shastra, yes, Shastra, and we are referring to Kriya Yoga as part of Kundalini Yoga. Now, learn the next thing. Kundalini Yoga or Kriya Yoga is actually part of Tantra. Kundalini Yoga or Kriya Yoga deals with the serpent power, which is treated as a Devi Durga form, which goes up within your body, evolving you to the superconsciousness of Shiva as to attain the status of Parabrahma, where both the female and the male godhead forms merge into one to form the Nirakara Parabrahma. Means over here, the physical forms merges to form the wisdom of knowledge. Now, which knowledge are we talking about over here is the internal, spiritual, eternal knowledge that is present only in Sanatan Dharma. Yes, you can try any other dharmas across the globe, whichever part you are in, and you will find the totality of the truth only and only in Sanatan Dharma. This is my life experience that I am sharing with you because I have tried in other forms of religions as well. Kundalini Chakra takes you from a very prone level of understanding to the most valuable wisdoms of life. When you move from one chakra to the other, understanding your health, wealth, your internal strengths, your willingness, you work on the food habits, and you involve your spiritual strength in each and every step, the level of your understanding do change. Now, if you say that I want to do Kriya Yoga, but I will not utter a mantra, I am sorry to tell you, my dear, you will fail disastrously. Because like everywhere, people try to tell you and explain you that you got to control your mind. So when you control your mind, let me tell you one thing, that mind is symbolized as a wild horse. And when you try to understand your mind, it can take you within seconds, within fraction of seconds, from India to a different continent, and the next moment it can jump to the other part of the world and to the solar system. It's very least that I am talking about. When I give you a practical experience, you try to sit to meditate, the next moment you will find in yourself exploring the thought about the work that you were doing just before meditation. Or might be there are certain things that are going on at the back of your house which is coming inside your ear, and you say, I am being disturbed. But this such disturbances of your mind is actually because you are trying to put a hold onto it. You are trying to control it. I would like to tell you one thing. There is no use of whatever form you want to speak in controlling something. And especially if you try to control your mind, it's impossible. Now, how you are supposed to go forward? Yes. You will say that if I don't control my thoughts, no, let it flow. When you let your thoughts flow to you and you understand your thoughts, you will do a SWOT of yourself. In corporate language, we say SWOT. What do you mean by it? SWOT, SOWT, is strength, opportunity, weakness, and T is threats. So this is what we call SWOT. Similarly, you got to understand your moral strength. You got to understand your opportunities, from where to where you can go. You can take yourself. You got to understand your weaknesses also. You got to understand, you got to address your weakness. Always pointing to others. You are pointing three things to you. That's a simple thing, simple logic. And many people have said this, so I don't want to go on explaining on that. So this, first of all, you have to address your own differentiations, your own fallouts. Whatever plane it might be financial, it might be mental, it might be your own some inert ideas. It can be some flaws of your mind. It can be anyone you are quarreling with. It can be your family members, whosoever be it. And the threats that you get within your mind. That threat can come from your boss, can come from your parents, can come from your girlfriends or boyfriends, obviously. And it can be of anyone's. It can be a natural threat, it can be a financial threat. But you got to understand each and everything. Without crossing this step, you will never be able to achieve the last goal of your life. That is realization. Once you are ready with your SWOT, you are ready by hearing your mind. You are inspecting your thoughts. You will see where you are wrong yourself. No one needs to point you out. So when there's a stop, that it stops pointing out by others, you start pointing out yourself. Now, please, I do pray to you people. Don't stop over here. Because you find out your faults and after that you come back to me, Ma, I have found out what I am doing wrong. But how am I supposed to change it? No one can change you. There is absolutely no one, not even the Guru can change you. Until and unless you are willing to change yourself. At the end of the day, you are your best Guru. You are the best knowledgeable person in the world. And you are your actual strength. You are your worst enemy and you are your best friend. There is no one in between this. So when you ask that, yes, I am ready to mend myself, then comes the Guru, who will tell you, will guide you, will ask you to do certain things. That is actually the work of the Guru. Except that the Guru is not going to do anything for you, except specially for Gurus like me will not. You will have to mend yourself. You will have to change yourself. You will have to understand yourself. To change yourself, it doesn't mean you can harm yourself. No. You can understand that you are the worst person perhaps in the world. I did also understand that where I was wrong. But if over there I keep pondering on what wrongs I have done, I will enter into the stage of depression. And that will slowly lead you to a mental patient stage. Don't go over there. That is not actually needed. You just understand your mind. You understand your flaws and mend them. That is what is actually required. You got to mend where your flaws are. Here, your food habits plays a major role. Here, the asanas that are given in Kriya Yoga plays a major role. They will give you the strength that you require physically, mentally, as well as on your physical body form. Because suppose you are having a digestive problem, you will not be able to do your asanas, or you will not be able to sit for your meditation. You cannot concentrate. Suppose you have a physical problem of, like me, I have a back problem. Now I will require a certain position to sit for my meditation. These are the alterations that we do. This is not the old days where the facilities was not available. Now if you try to say that in Kriya Yoga, the scripture says that I have to do Surya Namaskar 120 times before I enter the next level of understanding. If I ask you to do Surya Namaskar 120 times a day, you will exhaust yourself because you don't have that kind of a physical strength today. You got to understand, spirituality changes with your physical understanding. Your physical strength will define the way of the practice that you want to develop for your clear understanding. And when you do this, you will have to make accommodations. On those days, we never had the privilege to sit on our bed and do the meditation. So there was no bed system at that point of time, there was floor system. Now today don't try to do it sitting on the floor because you will just increase your arthritis level. Sit in a comfortable position that is more required to do your meditation, not where you are sitting or on what format you are sitting. Now you will ask and hold with me that there are certain asanas which are being written in the scriptures that if you sit on the floor, you will get this amount of spiritual, benefits. I have seen it all. I have sat in nearly from floor to gold chairs. But the benefits which I had in the floor, I had the same benefit on my bed or somewhere else also. So it really doesn't matter. What matters is your clear consciousness, is your clear understanding. When you are walking into your Tantra or Kriya Yoga, whatever term you want to mention it, you can go forward. Just realize the truth. That is what is needed. Rest, each and everything can part out. So with this, I will try to complete this session, because as you know that a full volume cannot go more than 1 hour. It is not feasible for me also to narrate so much. So I will try to keep half an hour sessions for all the classes. So from next class, we will be going to the history of Kundalini Kriya Yoga, so that you understand the relationship between all the parts, all the meaningful parts of the Tantra Yoga. This is actually Tantra Kriya Yoga. I wish you all the best, and let's continue with our realization part.